A priori, it would not be an accident.
It's not an accident.
I am convinced that this plane has been hijacked.
This is the Malaysia Airlines flight MH370.
Plane carrying 227 passengers.
It seems to have vanished into thin air.
What do we tell the family members? What do we tell the media?
On 8th of March 2014, it suddenly disappeared from radar on its journey from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing.
The plane vanishes from air traffic controllers' radar screens.
Despite the collaborative efforts of multiple nations in conducting an extensive search operation, the wreckage of the plane has not been found yet, and this remains one of the biggest mysteries in aviation history. So, what really happened to MH370? Was it shot down by the US military, or aliens' abduction has something to do with the disappearance? Join us as we explore the most shocking theories surrounding the disappearance of the Malaysia Airlines MH370. Number 1. MH370 was shot down by the US military. A former French airline director, Marc Dugan, has claimed that the US military may have shot down Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 and concealed the incident. Dugan, who formerly headed Proteus Airlines and is an established author, speculated that the Americans might have targeted the aircraft due to concerns about a potential September 11th-style attack on a military base in the Indian Ocean. In an article for the French magazine Paris Match, he suggested that the Boeing 777 did not crash in the area where international search teams were searching for wreckage, but rather near an American military base on the British territory of Diego Garcia. Many conspiracy theories about Diego Garcia have been aired since the disappearance of MH370, but the US government has repeatedly denied that the plane came anywhere near it. Furthermore, investigative journalist Florence Deschangy, who has been extensively researching MH370, put forth her theory. She believes that the American military utilized signal jamming technology to remove the plane from radar screens before potentially shooting it down following a failed attempt to redirect its course. Deschangy suggests that the US may have been interested in seizing sensitive electronic equipment that the flight was carrying to Beijing. On one point, she is absolutely certain: it was not possible for a Boeing 777 to have simply disappeared. There are many theories, but still no conclusive answers in the search for the missing flight MH370. Number 2. Pilot flew a suicide route. Aviation journalist Jeff Wise presents a theory involving MH370's pilot, Zahari Ahmad Shah, who is believed to have intentionally caused the plane's disappearance. Captain Zahari Shah, age 53 at the time, was at the helm of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 when it departed from Kuala Lumpur route to Beijing with 227 passengers and 11 crew members on board. Jeff suspects that Captain Shah may have locked the first officer out of the cockpit, deactivated the aircraft's communication systems, donned an oxygen mask, and depressurized the cabin. This action would have led to oxygen deficiency, causing the passengers and crew to lose consciousness at a high altitude. According to this theory, Captain Shah might have then navigated the aircraft along the border between Thailand and Malaysia to avoid drawing attention from military authorities on either side. Subsequently, he could have changed course to the south, heading towards a remote location where he believed the plane would never be discovered. However, the official investigation report contradicts this theory. It states that there was no documented history of apathy, anxiety, or irritability in Captain Shah's profile, and there were no significant lifestyle changes or interpersonal conflicts. This challenges the notion that he had a motive for such actions. Wise still had doubts despite the plausibility of this theory. It is worth pointing out that there have been a handful of cases of pilots who have decided to kill their passengers, Wise said. But there has never been a case that someone has taken 6 hours to commit mass murder-suicide. I started to wonder, maybe it wasn't Zahari after all. Number 3. Getting hijacked by the Russians. One theory about the disappearance of MH370 is that the aircraft was hijacked during its journey by Russian hijackers, potentially as a diversion to draw attention away from Russia's occupation of Crimea. This theory gained traction partly due to another Malaysian Airlines flight.
A priori, it would not be an accident.
It's not an accident.
I am convinced that this plane has been hijacked.
Being shot down by a Russian missile over Ukraine in July 2014. In the official government report, Koch, the lead investigator, stated that they were not dismissing the possibility of third-party involvement in the disappearance of MH370. This statement lends some credibility to the theory. He mentioned, "It has been determined that the aircraft's turnback was executed manually, not through autopilot, and as a result, we cannot rule out the possibility of unlawful interference by a third party." However, it's crucial to note that no terrorist organization has publicly claimed responsibility for the plane's disappearance, and the mystery surrounding MH370's fate still unclear. Number 4. Fire or technical failure. Another theory suggests that the aircraft might have encountered an electrical malfunction or fire, which could have incapacitated its communication systems and ultimately resulted in its vanishing. This theory assumes that the aircraft's transponder and communication apparatus could have been deactivated due to an electrical failure or onboard fire. There have been several instances in aviation history where electrical fires have caused significant damage to planes, and there is a precedent for this theory. However, there are some inconsistencies with this theory, such as the lack of a distress signal or message from the pilots indicating that there was a problem on board. Some supporters of this theory also point to the fact that lithium-ion batteries, which were known to be on board the plane, can be prone to fires and have caused incidents on other planes in the past. Investigators have determined that the batteries were packaged and handled in accordance with safety regulations, and there is no conclusive evidence to support the theory that an electrical failure or fire caused the plane's disappearance. Ultimately, while an electrical failure or fire is a possible explanation for the disappearance of MH370, there is not enough evidence to support this theory, and it remains a topic of speculation among experts and the public. Number 5. Remote hacking or control. At this point, we're seeing a mix of plausible ideas and some far-fetched conspiracy theories. In 2003, Boeing secured a patent called Remote Control Takeover of Aircraft, which was designed to prevent potential hijackings. This system featured an uninterruptible autopilot that could be activated in different ways, such as by pilots, onboard sensors, or remotely through radio or satellite links by airlines or government agencies. The idea was that if someone attempted to forcibly seize control of the cockpit, this system would take charge, preventing pilot input and resisting unauthorized interference. However, there have been concerns that such technology could also potentially be exploited by ground-based criminals to remotely hijack an aircraft. Boeing responded to investigators by clarifying that they had never actually implemented this patented system or any similar technology for remote piloting of commercial planes. They also stated that they were unaware of any of their commercial aircraft having such capabilities. The investigation ultimately concludes with a straightforward message. There is no evidence to support the idea that control of the aircraft 9MMRO, operating as MH370, could have been or was taken over remotely, as the technology for that was never implemented on commercial aircraft. This conclusion effectively debunks the remote hijacking theory in the case of MH370, aligning with established aviation practices and standards. Number 6. Catastrophic decompression. Catastrophic decompression refers to a sudden and severe loss of cabin pressure in an aircraft. This can happen when there is a structural failure or breach in the aircraft's fuselage, such as a window or door breaking open.
What was that?
We have to get down!
We've lost pressure!
The theory of catastrophic decompression in the case of Flight 370 suggests that a sudden and severe loss of cabin pressure could have incapacitated both the passengers and the crew. If the crew and passengers lost consciousness due to hypoxia resulting from decompression, it would have affected their ability to control the aircraft or communicate. Moreover, if decompression occurred suddenly and severely, it might have caused the aircraft to continue flying on autopilot along its last programmed course, course. Communication with air traffic control and other aircraft could have been lost if critical communication systems were affected by the decompression event. One of the challenges with the catastrophic decompression theory, like other theories regarding Flight 370's disappearance, is the lack of concrete evidence to support it. Although the search for wreckage in the southern Indian Ocean did not definitively confirm or rule out this theory. Number 7. Tom Noters believe the plane crashed in the South China Sea. The downed MH370 flight might have crashed thousands of miles from the main search area, a volunteer satellite researcher has claimed. Cindy Hendry, a former volunteer for the now-defunct satellite imagery company, Tomnod, spotted what appeared to be plane debris in the South China Sea just days after the plane's disappearance on March 8, 2014. At the time, her discovery was overlooked as the plane was believed to have crashed into the Indian Ocean. However, 9 years later, she asserts that she found an M on a piece of wreckage that closely resembles the M on the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777 flight that disappeared during its journey from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to Beijing, China. Speaking on new Netflix documentary MH370, The Disappeared Plane, she said she knew she had evidence of the jet in the South China Sea, but was repeatedly ignored by investigators at the time.
At that point, I already had contacted Malaysia Airlines. I tried to reach out to so many people to tell them that this debris exists. Nobody was listening to me.
I literally cried because I knew someone had died there, because I knew that was a part of the plane, Hendry said. That meant they were no longer alive, and that wasn't the answer their family members were looking for. But Malaysian investigators soon called off their search operations in the South China Sea after British company Inmarsat showed data which suggested the plane crashed in the Indian Ocean. Number 8. Seized by a stowaway. Could someone have sneaked onto the plane before the passengers and crew, maybe on a suicide mission, or with plans to land somewhere like Christmas Island, which is about 1,000 miles northwest of Western Australia? This idea is seen as the second most likely theory by Philip Baum, right after pilot suicide. He's shown that there's a space under the floor just outside the flight deck door where someone could hide. Such a stowaway could also disable the transponder, making the plane effectively disappear. There have been cases in aviation where former employees with grudges targeted airlines. It's possible, but there are a lot of reasons why this scenario seems highly unlikely. First, the person would have to get access to the plane before it was ready for takeoff in Kuala Lumpur. They'd need to overpower the cabin crew, 227 passengers, and 2 pilots to take control of the aircraft. And somehow, they'd need to vanish without a trace when MH370 disappeared. Plus, it's tough to come up with a motive. No terrorist group has ever claimed responsibility for taking over MH370 for political or propaganda reasons. Ultimately, these theories can only be put to the test if and when the plane is found. Number 9. Alien abduction or UFO involvement. The MH370 disappearance is one of those modern-day mysteries that just keeps drawing the attention of curious amateur and the detectives who are looking to plug their fix of curiosity. A video is currently doing the rounds of the internet where some netizens are claiming it to be of MH370. In the clip, an unidentified object can be seen following the plane, with users claiming that the plane was abducted by aliens. The video, posted on popular subreddit r/UFO dedicated to investigating such claims, has generated some buzz. However, akin to previous such videos, the claims have been found to be bogus. According to Newsweek, the clip was last shared in 2014 as well, but did not carry explicit mention of Boeing at the time. The publication added that the second part of the now viral footage was captured by a satellite that was not even launched at the time of the plane's mysterious disappearance. As per Hoaxai, this footage is of a military satellite, NROL 77, which was launched later. Despite being debunked multiple times that the plane could not have been abducted by the aliens, the theory keeps coming back. Its newfound virality on the internet might stem from the recent congressional hearing where David Grush, A former U.S. intelligence official made some startling claims. In his testimony, Grush said there was an absolute certainty that the federal government remains in possession of UAPs. Grush cited interviews he had conducted with over 40 witnesses over a 4-year-long period as the basis of his claims. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to watch our others most popular videos as well. Until the next video, goodbye.